Hi, this is Clayton with iCEV, and welcome to the iCEV 101 session for our virtual conference. The purpose of this session is to really provide an introduction to the iCEV platform, talk to you about our course offerings and a few of the bells and whistles that are on the iCEV platforms. And it's going to lay the groundwork for the rest of the sessions throughout the next couple of days. So after this, then you'll be prepared to dive into your specific subject area or some of the other workshops that we are offering. So I'm logged in here as a user, and this is what your first screen would look like. It's going to ask you to start setting up your courses. So if I click on that button, what's going to happen, it's going to give me access to a course picker here, and it's going to give me access to all of the courses that we have to offer. Now, because I give a demonstration, I'm going to see every course. But if you see this little pull down here, we have 7 different platforms that are organized by cluster areas that fall under CTE. And then we put those courses inside the applicable cluster areas. So currently we have 7 platforms. We have one for agricultural science, one for career exploration, business, marketing, finance, IT, and media, family and consumer sciences, health science, architecture, construction, transportation and manufacturing, and law, public safety, corrections, and security. Now let's just say that I am a family and consumer sciences teacher. If I click on that, then I would only see these courses. I would have access to all of these courses, so it's kind of like a Netflix model, if you will. I wouldn't have to purchase a resource for fashion design or for food science. I have all of that here in this one platform. Let's say I was a business, marketing, finance, IT, or media teacher. I teach a course that falls underneath one of those cluster areas. If I click on that, then these are the courses that I would see. And again, you have access to all of the courses for your particular platform. For an example, let's say I was a graphic design and illustration teacher. I would click that course, I'm going to select that course, and then I would come up here and I would name it something that means something to me. So I'm going to say this is my first period graphic design. I'm going to click add that course, and notice that it added the course here. Let's also say that I teach personal finance. I'm going to click on personal finance, and then I'm going to come give this a name as well. And we'll say second period personal finance. I'm going to say add the course, and then it's going to add that up there for me as well. Just to give a little variety, let's say that I am a health teacher. So let's look at those courses. Let's say that I teach anatomy and physiology. So I can put third period, and we'll just say A&P. We'll add that course. Now again, you're only going to have access to the courses for the platform that applies to you, but for demonstration purposes, I wanted to kind of show you the variety of courses that we offer for each of the different platforms. Let's say that I'm a law teacher, and I teach maybe forensic science. So I could say fourth period forensic science. And we would add that course. So you can see the goal of here where we start is to come in for your area and add the courses that you would teach for the semester or that you would teach for the year. Now for the sake of time, I'm just going to click finished. This right here would be known, it's called your My Courses page, but it's really kind of your dashboard, if you will, again, for those courses that you just set up for your semester or for your year. If I view a course, now I'm going to just view this graphic design course, but regardless of what course area you teach, what subject area you teach, everything's going to be organized the same way. It's just going to be, the content's just going to be applicable to what you teach. So we're going to use this graphic design course as our example. If I view the course, then we have the lessons listed here in the order that our curriculum team recommends to teach those lessons. Now I'll show you in just a second how you can customize that order if you want to. If I open a lesson, and we'll just open this very first lesson here, this is a slide presentation lesson. All of our content's either going to be slide-based or video-based. Whether it is slide-based or video-based, everything has a lesson plan. So if I view the lesson plan, you'll see that lesson plan here. They're going to give you a goal, going to give you a description, going to give you objectives. If you are in a Common Core state, then we're going to provide a Common Core correlation here. If you are not in a Common Core state, then we have what's called a horizontal alignment crosswalk here. So to show how you are incorporating core type of curriculum into your classroom. And if I keep scrolling past that, then I'm going to get to the lesson plan itself. These lesson plans are based on a 50-minute class period, and you'll notice that they're broken up into days and then into segments of the lesson. Now, again, this was a slide presentation. So this is going to say that on day 1, we're going to show slides 1 through 18, and then we're going to do all of these things here. We know that students don't want to learn 45 slides at a time, or they don't want to learn 50 minutes at a time by watching a video. So we try to break those lessons up into smaller learning objectives. So, and you can indicate that, and again, that's indicated here underneath each class period. Everything that's listed on the lesson plan in italics is some sort of handout, project, or activity for the student that's going to better help them apply or understand what they learned within this segment of slides or within that segment of video. Maybe it could be an activity that they start on day 1 and that follows them throughout the entire presentation, and they turn that in at the end of this particular lesson. And again, this lesson plan is just a roadmap. So you can choose to follow it to a T, or you can choose to pluck out the elements that you feel like are most applicable to your classroom. If I go back to the lesson page, and remember I talked about all of those things in italics, you cannot access those by uncollapsing the printable menu here. So on day 1, if it says to hand out vocabulary, I can click on the vocabulary handout, and that's going to pop up here. All of these are just PDF documents, so they can be printed, they can be emailed, they can be saved. They can actually be shared on Google Classroom or any other type of LMS that you might have, and we have a whole session on that. So I encourage you to attend that session to learn more of the ins and outs of how these can work with the different LMS, how iCEV can be implemented with your LMS that you might use. So then also with the student licenses though, students have access to all of these documents. So there would never be a need to print or share in a way, because they would have access with the access to these documents with those student licenses. If I go back, and let's talk about just the functionality of the PowerPoint here, you can progress through those slides. Remember back on that lesson plan, we had slides 1 through 18 that we're going to do on day 1, and then slides 19 through 38. That's how we've segmented the PowerPoint here. So maybe you're ready to start on day 4 and you're ready to get right into this graphic design in this modernist era. I can click on that, and it's going to take me directly to that portion of the lesson. Again, with the student licenses, students can see these on their side. Now you have the opportunity to control what they see and what they don't see with these check boxes here. So, you know, again, they can see as much as you want or as little as you want, and you have the opportunity to control that with the student licenses. Another cool element that we have is there is an interactive version of some assessments and activities. Students can either choose to use the printable version of the assessments, or we have interactive versions of those where students can take them online, and then it automatically puts those in a grade book for you. And again, there's all types of ways for you to control when you're ready for them to see that. If you want it to show up in the grade book, maybe you want it to deactivate on a certain day, so they only have a couple of days of a window to take that activity, that interactive activity or assessment. And maybe you want to let them take it more than once. So you have all of those opportunities to control and set parameters for your students in terms of taking these interactive activities and assessments. Another thing too, best practices here to share is if I do uncollapse the printable one more time, you do have the opportunity to download a version of the PowerPoint here. Sometimes a lot of our users do this because they maybe want to add something to a PowerPoint that's applicable to them, or maybe in the instance that the internet doesn't work on a day, you have a downloaded version of this lesson, and then you have that ready to roll and go if you have problems with your internet connectivity for a day or something like that. Let's go back to the course and let's look at another lesson. Let's look at this color theory lesson. This particular lesson is, again, going to have that lesson plan that goes along with it. Going to give you that goal, going to give you that description and objectives. We get past that common core, and then it's going to give you that step-by-step instruction. This particular lesson is what we call a hybrid. So it has a video element, but it also has a slide-based element as well. And again, the lesson plan is going to detail exactly how to incorporate those two different pieces of content. If I go back, you'll notice we're going to access that hybrid version here with the PowerPoint with this pull-down menu. So when the lesson plan indicates it's time to do the PowerPoint version, I can click on that, and that's going to pop up here. The hybrid lessons are really designed from a PowerPoint standpoint to address kind of the very definition-driven concepts to a lesson and things like that that are best displayed in a slide form. And then the video is going to go through more of your actual demonstration and that type of thing. Again, all those videos are segmented out, and it goes along with that lesson plan. But if for some reason you needed to play a video in its entirety, each segment's going to automatically roll into the next segment. So you can do that as well. Again, I can uncollapse the video here, or the printable piece here, and you can see all of those things that are referenced in the lesson plan. Wanted to point out that all of our videos do have they are all closed captioned, but then they also have a video transcript that goes along with them. So if for some reason in a distance learning scenario, students do not have access to the internet or have poor internet connectivity, you can utilize these transcripts so students can then see they can read through the content and be able to do the activities and those types of things. So let's go back to the course. And remember I said maybe you don't like the order in which our curriculum designers have put these lessons. I can click on Customize this course. And so now all of the lessons that are in this course appear underneath the selected lesson heading. And maybe I wanted to start with drawing basics. I can grab that and I can move that to the top. Maybe I didn't want to cover photography in this particular course. I have my own course for that, and I don't want to cover that in this particular one. I can click Remove. It doesn't remove it in perpetuity. It just removes it from this playlist. Additionally, you can come over here and you can search from our entire library by keyword of all of our lessons if you wanted to add, or I can search by subject area. Now again, I give demonstrations, so I have access to all of our content areas. But again, we're in this graphic design course, so I would have access to this business, marketing, finance, IT, and media. And let's say maybe I wanted to add some career exploration to this particular course. I can click on that. And so now everything that falls underneath that heading of career exploration for arts, AV, and technology appears here. And if it's grayed out, that means it's already in the course. Maybe I wanted to add this Exploring Careers video. I could preview it to see if I liked it. And let's say I did like it. I'm going to add it. And it's going to put it at the bottom of the course. Now, the key to all of this is once you have everything rearranged, removed, and added like you like it, then make sure to click Finished so your work is saved. So now when I view that course, we'll notice that that has been moved to the top, and then we have that Exploring Careers video at the bottom. Any changes that you make on your side of things, that will make those changes on the student side of things as well. If we talk about the student licenses, this is where you would manage all of those licenses. The first thing that you would do would be invite students to this course. When I click on that, that's going to open up a page and generate a unique code. That code is unique to this course. My second period course is going to have a different code. The students will go to this register page. They will enter this code, and once they do that, then they'll start showing up in your roster. So if I go back to the course, you will find them here on the Manage Roster. So again, once they start entering the codes and signing up, you will see them here in Manage Roster. From here, you actually can see the student's username. You cannot see their password, but you can reset it. So if a student forgets his or her username and password, you can tell them their username, and then you can reset their password for them. Additionally, once students start taking some of those interactive assessments and that type of thing, then they're going to start showing up in your course grades report. Also, we have a feature where you can create a custom assessment. You can create 6-week exams, end of course exams. Basically what happens here is that it allows you to pick the questions from all of these different lessons, or you can come in and create your own questions as well. So a really cool tool that allows you to come in and create, like I said, 6 weeks exams, 9-week exams, whatever kind of schedule you're on, and then end of course exam. This right here, really, this is where you have your controls in terms of what the student can see. So this is all of those visibility type settings. If I click on this show settings here, and let's say maybe what that does is that basically allows me the opportunity on a lesson basis to either have it visible to students, hide it from students, or make it visible on a certain date. So this really allows you to come in and segment your course out and say maybe you want to make this visible for today, and maybe I want to make this one visible for tomorrow. So, and then the next one visible on the next day. I clicked that wrong. Let me get the right date there. And then maybe you want to hide the rest. So you could come in and segment the course out. All of these underneath here then allow you to turn off. Remember when I viewed one of these lessons, and we'll just do that again real quick. Remember there were all of these checkboxes? Well, if I'm outside of the lesson, then this allows me to check them all off on a course basis and then just go back in and check them back on. Now we're going to have in our other sessions, so if you attend another session, we'll go into all of this student visibility type settings in more detail. Just wanted to give you kind of an overview of how all of that works. Additionally, we have a special population strategy document here that gives you, and I'll just open that real quick. It basically walks through all of the different activity types and project types and common assignments that are within iCEV and provides some modification, accommodation, and extension strategies for those different types of activities. Also talks about how you can utilize some of those visibility settings to benefit some of your special populations groups, and how you can come in and maybe set those parameters a little different for your special pops kids than you might for some of the other folks within your classroom. So make sure and take advantage and look at that special population strategy document that you can find that right up here. Another thing that I wanted to point out, so let's go back to the My Courses page, and let's also then click this Add a New Course. And again, you're going to find all of your courses, but we also are a certification testing platform. So right now, I'm looking at the Ag Science offering. So let's act like we are an Ag Science teacher. And if I click on this certification playlist, you're going to see the industry certification preparation content that we have for these certifications. Again, we are the testing platform for these certifications. The certifying body in this instance would be the American Meat Science Association, or Elanco, or Southwest Airlines. And we have content that's going to help students be successful on those certification exams. Now, we have very detailed workshops that are going to go over all of the ins and outs of how we are a certification testing platform and how we can provide prep content and how students can earn a certification. But I just wanted to point that out to you from a basic level in this iCEV Basics workshop. So let's go back to your My Courses page. I wanted to point out a couple more things before we begin the Q&A session. We have two very important buttons at the top. The first one is our coach button, and what that allows you to do is that allows you to chat with one of our customer services representatives from the hours of 7 to 5 Central Standard Time, and ask any question that you might have of them. And if they don't know the answer, then they will certainly find somebody that will. So if you forgot your username, or if you wanted to know, hey, I'm looking for a lesson on X, Y, or Z, do you guys have that? Then they can chat that back to you. The other thing that we have is this schedule and online training. And what this does is it's going to open a calendar. It's going to allow you to select a time that's convenient to you. Could be 15 minutes, could be 30 minutes. And then we can have a one-on-one training session in a virtual environment to answer any questions that you might have in terms of implementation of the platform, or just specific maybe course content questions that you might have. The other thing that we have too is we have tutorials up here as well. So we want to provide a variety of resources to you that can help the implementation process much easier for the iCEV platforms. So that quickly wraps up the iCEV 101 session. So if you'll hang tight, we'll be here to answer your questions.